Hey y'all, I'm Paula Deen. Grab your deck shoes because today we're going for a ride on a tugboat. But before we go out on the water, I've got to put a meal together to help keep those sailors happy. First up, I'm going to be making a smoked Texas brisket. That's sure to be a man pleaser. And nothing goes better with brisket than beans. So I'm going to show you the secret to the perfect pot of pinto beans. And then to spice things up, I'm going to be making coleslaw in a hot new way that I think you're going to just love. And of course, no meal is complete without dessert. And my mile-high strawberry cream pie is just the perfect way to cool down a hot meal. So meet me by the docks, y'all, because today we're going to be having fun by the water. You know, I just can't get enough of all this beauty out here. And I'm the newest member of the Groover family. And so I affectionately call all this Grooverville, because it was established years and years and years ago by Big Henry and Carmel Groover. That would be Michael's mother and daddy. This is Nick and Jody's house right here. And of course, this is the house that Michael and I are building. And the family home that they actually grew up in is where Father Hank lives. So all the brothers are still on the original spot. I've got a great little setup right up here, so we might want to get started on it if Michael and them are going to get fed tonight, so y'all come on. I got a call from Michael a little while ago, and he said, the crew and I are going to be stuck on this tugboat until about midnight. Is there any way you can bring us some supper? And I said, well, it'll work out perfect, Michael, because I had just gotten all set up to put a brisket on the grill. So I'll just go ahead and cook that, and I would love to feed y'all. In fact, y'all can be my guinea pigs, because I don't know if you caught my barbecue special, but Tom out in San Antonio came and taught me how to cook brisket. Well, I had never cooked it before. So I'm gonna cook this brisket, and I'm gonna cook a nice pot of pinto beans in the crock pot. And the great part of this meal is it can kind of tend to itself, because I got a lot of running and errands that I've got to do. So let's get started. I've got my brisket here, and I'm gonna put a dry rub on it. I've got our house seasoning, chili powder, just a little brown sugar, not much, and a good bit of cayenne pepper, and onion salt and dried oregano. Now all I'm going to do is just mix all this together and create my own rub. Now you can buy these already mixed up, but they're so easy to make in your own kitchen, and that way you can put your flavors that you are really crazy about together. Ooh, it smells good. I love the chili powder smell. Now we're going to coat this good. Tom told me not to be shy. All right, so I've got that side coated good, so I'm going to flip him over and coat this other side. I'm just going to pour it all on and rub it into him, because I want those flavors all inside of him, just like that. And you'll see that this was the fat side. Love that little bit of fat on that brisket. It's real rich, but it's so good. Tom taught me to cook this at like 250 degrees for 10 to 12 hours. Well, I'm gonna cook this in a smoker, which has a smaller surface, so I doubt that I can get it as low as 250, but I'm gonna put it on the smoker. All right, now my heat force contains charcoal, soaked hickory, and a pan of water. And because the smoker has such a small surface, it's very hard for me to cook this using indirect heat because of the compactness of the coals. So we're gonna see how it'll do, but I think it's gonna do just fine. So we'll just put this on the grill. All right, so we're just gonna put this on our fire. And the secret to cooking brisket is low and slow. So I'm gonna keep this fire as low as I can get it. Now I'm gonna cook this meat for about 6 hours until it's 190 degrees. And I'll show you a trick that Tom showed me when we'll decide whether it's ready or not. And it's a real easy trick. All right, so that takes care of that. It'll kind of tend to itself. There we go. The meat was almost so big, I think it just got caught up under the lid. But come on back over here with me. I'm gonna wash my hands. All right, so I wanna give my hands a wiping. Then we're gonna get started on our pinto beans. And this is another easy dish that's gonna take care of itself for the next few hours. I have been soaking our pintos, and when I started, it was actually covered in water. Those beans have already soaked up that water, and they've gotten puffy on us. So I'm just gonna drain that water out. Now you can cook your pintos with any different seasoning that you want. You know, I'm a ham hock girl, and I've had it cooking in a saucepan. So I've got our crock pot ready. So all we're gonna do is take our pinto beans, throw them into our crock pot, and for this amount of beans, I'm gonna put in 4 cups of water, a half a teaspoon of dried oregano, about a teaspoon of chili powder, and I'm gonna start with like a teaspoon of house seasoning. Now I'm gonna take this seasoned water and add it to the crock pot. So you might wanna hold back. You saw me put 4 cups of water in it. I would probably hold back and use this water first, and then if it needs any more, you can add additional water. But I'm just gonna let those cook away. I think the only thing this pot needs now is an onion, and I'm gonna just peddle this onion and throw it over in there, or you could just throw your onion in there whole. It really doesn't matter. The main thing is onions and pinto beans go together, so just make sure that you have your onion in your pot. All right, so we've got our onion in there, so that pot's ready. We've got our brisket on, we've got our pinto beans and ham hock in the crock pot, and when we come back, I'm gonna be making a hot coleslaw, and you're not gonna believe this mile-high strawberry pie that I'm cooking up for Michael and the crew. So y'all don't go anywhere. I so hope y'all are enjoying the show, and if you do, be sure to click like, subscribe, and the notification bell so you'll never miss a video. And we'll be right back after the break. If y'all have just joined me, I want to let you know what I'm doing here. I got a phone call from Michael earlier this morning, and he's stuck on the tugboat with a crew, and he said they were starving, and I said, well, perfect, because I was just getting ready to put a brisket on. So I'm cooking a brisket, I've cooked a pot of pinto beans, and now I'm fixing to make hot coleslaw. Our brisket is on the smoker, and it should be almost ready. But before I go look at that, I'm just gonna throw some bacon in our skillet here and let it start browning. And then we're gonna go over there and check on our brisket. I think that'll be fine. I've got that on low. So let's come over here and look. And I'm gonna be very optimistic. I'm gonna take my cutting board with me. So like I said, I'm gonna be real optimistic. I'm bringing my platter with me, hoping it's gonna be ready. Oh, it looks like a beauty, doesn't it? Now, Tom told me when I think my brisket's ready, to run my knife up under it. You can see it wanting to bend on me in the middle. And he said when it wants to bend like that it should be nice and done. So I'm gonna I may have to get the tongs for this. So here we go. Oh, doesn't that look good? All right, now I'm gonna bring it back up here, and we're gonna let it just sit out and rest for a few minutes before we cut it. And that'll give us time to get our slaw made. I think there's gonna be some happy men though on that tugboat. That's a pretty piece of meat. All right, I smell our bacon and I think it's ready. All right, now to make our coleslaw, I'm gonna cook our green peppers and our onions. I'm gonna dump it in that hot bacon grease, and I'm gonna cook them just for a minute until they're just barely limp. There's nothing like the smell of onions and bell peppers. All right, and now I'm gonna add a shredded slaw. Now you can use the prepackaged already shredded from the grocery store. I just wouldn't recommend the angel hair because it's such a fine shred of cabbage, it'll get too done. And we're gonna dump this in here and just let it just heat because we want our coleslaw to still be crispy. I've never had a coleslaw where you actually cooked your cabbage. All right, you can see how our cabbage is kind of limping out on us. Now to our cabbage, I'm gonna add 4 tablespoons of chili powder. That looks like a lot, doesn't it? And I'm gonna add a little bit of salt. And I'm gonna add 1 can of hot Rotel tomatoes. So this is gonna be a hot and spicy coleslaw, and the men are just gonna love it, because all those men down there on the river like hot food. And I just wanna make sure I stir it up good and stir that chili powder all through that cabbage. All right, I'm just gonna plate this up and get it out of that pot because it's gonna keep cooking. So I wanna get it away from that heat source just as quick as I can. Doesn't it just look good and smell so good? It's really a different type of coleslaw. All right, I got that bowled up. Now I wanna bowl up some of these beans. That looks so good. Oh, and I'm gonna pull me off some of that ham. There's nothing like a little ham hock in with your beans. All right, we're getting closer to tasting, and I'm getting closer and closer to getting the food to the men. Now, I think I'm gonna take this bacon and just crumble it around the edges, just like that. And I'm gonna take some chives, and I think I'm just gonna snip a few on top just for that bright green color. And these beans don't need a thing, but I'll still just dress them with a little parsley just to make them look good. And I saved the best for last. And I can't hardly wait to cut into this and see what it's like. So y'all ready? Oh my goodness, look at that. Look at the juice coming out of it. I don't think I'll ever be frightened of cooking brisket ever again. And y'all will notice that I'm cutting it against the grain. If you didn't, you wouldn't be able to chew this meat. It would be so tough. And you can see how the top of it is turning a little pink, and that's from the smoke. Oh my goodness, I'm so proud of it. Y'all, this looks so good, I don't even think I'm gonna bother putting me a little plate together. I think I'm just gonna eat it like it is, because I gotta get this down to those men quickly. Out of this world. Y'all gotta go to the store, get you a brisket and cook it. You're gonna love it. And the dry rub, it has just enough heat in it from the red pepper that it's got a nice little bite to it. It's wonderful. Now these beans, these pinto beans are so good. Now if you don't have a crock pot, you can cook them on top of the stove. Either way, they're wonderful. And I'm real anxious to taste this hot coleslaw. It looks so pretty. Love all the colors. I love it. And it's really got a kick to it. Michael's gonna love it. I've got to take a quick break. I got to load all this stuff up and get it to Michael. But y'all don't leave me yet, because the best is coming up, and that's a strawberry pie that's gonna cool everybody's taste buds down at the end of this hot meal. So I'll see y'all in a few minutes. I hope y'all are enjoying the show, and I want to hear from you. Tell me what recipes or videos you'd like to see me make by just leaving a short comment below. Now, let's get back to the show, y'all. Well, y'all, I'm saving the best for last. I'm fixing to make Michael a dessert, and it's a strawberry pie. I hear all the birds back there. Look, a shrimp boat's coming in. Isn't it beautiful? I never get tired of seeing them coming by the house. All right, this is an easy pie. We're gonna throw it together like 1, 2, 3. Somebody said a while ago, Paula, do you know you've done a whole show without a stick of butter? Wrong. We got a stick of butter in this bowl. I'm fixing to whip it up. And this is at room temperature. It's gotten real soft. Now I'm gonna add some powdered sugar. Do you hear the seagulls yelping out there? That's because they're falling behind that shrimp boat to get food, to get any shrimp that they might drop. So I've got my butter whipped, and now I'm gonna add some powdered sugar. All right, I've got 2 eggs, and I'm gonna beat these up, and I'm gonna add them to the butter and the cream cheese. All right, you and I have talked a lot of times about raw eggs. Some of you are concerned about it, some of us are not. I happen to be one of those that's not concerned about it because I always make sure I use fresh eggs, never an expired egg, nor an egg that's got a crack in it. I always throw those away. But if you're concerned about the eggs, you can use a pasteurized egg or you can use the egg beaters. Now I'm gonna beat these up and I'm gonna add them to our butter and our powdered sugar. All right, I've got those beat up now. I'm gonna put those in just a store-bought pie crust. This'll be fine. Michael won't care a bit. All right, so I'm gonna put this to the side and let it sit for a minute. And I'm gonna get my fresh whipped cream and I'm gonna add a layer. Just gonna spread that kind of over and around our butter and sugar mixture. All right, now I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna slice some fresh strawberries. Now, I too much wouldn't recommend using a frozen strawberry because they contain so much water. And you could use any kind of fruit that you wanted to. This would be wonderful with blueberries or raspberries if you're a raspberry lover. And the whipped cream, to me, it's just a travesty if that cream is not sweetened. So I always put 1/4 cup of sugar to 1 cup of whipping cream, no matter what I'm doing with it. All right, so I'm gonna toss this in a little sugar. Just wanna make sure that our berries are sweet in our pie. So I'm just gonna put a layer of those. Doesn't that look good against that fresh whipped cream? All right, now I'm gonna finish putting the rest of the whipped cream on the top of the pie. And I'm gonna let some of those strawberries kind of peek out around that inside. Okay. All right, so I think I'm gonna add just a few whole berries. I've got one kind of sliced right there that looks pretty. Now all I'm gonna do is stick this in the refrigerator and let it set up, and then it's on the way to the tugboat. So I think that pie is just perfect. Michael's gonna love it, as well as the men that work with him. So y'all stick around. When we come back, I've got some tips on how to transport safely a hot meal. I so hope y'all are enjoying the show. And if you do, be sure to click like, subscribe, and the notification bell so you'll never miss a video. And we'll be right back after the break. I've got this great little meal fixed up for Michael, but now the question is, how do I pack it to get it to him? Now, I have packed the brisket and the pinto beans in a glass Pyrex that has the snap-on lids. They work great. And I've got the coleslaw packed in another one, and I found the neatest little convenient carrier. It's actually a suitcase on wheels, but it's insulated for food, so you don't have to pick it up. All you have to do is just pack your food away in it, just like that. And for Michael to drink, I fixed him up some nice hot cider. I popped it in the microwave, and I'm gonna just transport this to a thermos. Now I'm gonna drop just a few cinnamon sticks in it and stick this down in the cooler with the hot things. Now I've got a basket for the pie that I've got the plates and forks in. And I think I'm gonna do this just like I do when I'm at the airport. pile everything onto one suitcase, so all I have to use is one hand. So I'll see y'all at the docks. What a way to end a perfect day. I've got the boat loaded up with the brisket and the pinto beans and the hot coleslaw and the straight way to Michael's heart, a mile-high strawberry pie. And I'm delivering it by boat, y'all. And I've got a confession to make. I have never driven a boat into the River Street area by myself. So y'all stay tuned to make sure I get there. Y'all want to ride? Do you trust me? I don't know if I trust myself. All right. What did I do with the motor? Bye, y'all. Hey, y'all, it's Paula Deen. Now, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it and click the subscribe button as well as the notification bell to be alerted when I post a video. Love and best dishes, y'all.